Yeah, there it is, ladies and gents. It is Wednesday. I am kidless, and we get to talk about the secrets of word-of-mouth marketing. I mean, what better day can we have than today? Here we go, ladies and gents. Let's do this thing.
Shut up and sit down.
The Business Bros Podcast was created for you. Learn from the business professionals who come to share their stories. Find out what's working in business, on social media, what's hot and what's not, straight from the mouths of successful entrepreneurs out there doing the real work. And now, welcome to another episode of
Business Bros! Yeah! Yeah, baby! All right, dude, let's do this thing. Ham, drop some heat.
Here we go. All right, all you business pros out there. Before we jump into the show, just a quick reminder to please subscribe on whichever platform it is that you're listening to us on today. Give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe, and drop a review. Help other like-minded business owners find value from our awesome guests while we rise up in those podcast rankings. We'll sincerely appreciate every single one of you for it, and if you want to be a guest on the show, we'd love to have you on to learn from you as well. Go to www.businessbros.biz, schedule your time, and don't forget to follow us on all our social medias at Business Bros Pod. All right, everybody, we are so excited and honored to bring another incredible guest to the Business Bros Pod. Have you ever paid for something and had such a great experience that you tell all your friends about it and post it on social media? The fact is, in nearly every business, the absolute best, most valuable marketing method is that sacred referral from a friend. But how do we get those referrals? Today's guest has the answer to that all-important question, and he is a national keynote speaker who's taught thousands of people the secret to word-of-mouth referrals. Our guest has spoken for Keller Williams, Score, Constant Contact, and the Vacation Rental Success Summit, and he can help your company stand out from the noise of marketing, the noise of social marketing, and lame networking events to help you create word-of-mouth referrals in a systematic and predictable way. Joining us today out of Boston, Massachusetts, the breakthrough champion and author of The High Five Effect. Welcome to the show, Matt Ward! Man, it felt like you cut him off a little bit. Like Matt was.
I was giving myself a standing ovation. Are you kidding me? That's amazing. What's up,
man.
Business Bros? I love it.
All right. Man,
Yeah.
energy, man. Matt Ward speaks. And when you speak, you come with some fire, my friend. All right, I always start with the origin story. You know, you have some energy. You wake up like that every single day. What's the thing that's pushing you, man?
He's sponsoring every podcast I ever do. Thank you very much.
Their drive-through line is ridiculous, dude. Something about what is in that coffee? What is in those donuts?
I don't know. I don't eat the donuts. I know it looks like I do. I just drink a lot of their coffee just to keep me energized all day long. And it's literally in New England, it's in every gas station. Like they have a drive-through Dunkin' Donuts in the gas station and a standalone Dunkin' Donuts like right next door. It's really weird.
I was going to say that line around the block, that's only for California. That's only for SoCal.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, well, on the East Coast, it must be a different thing. You have them everywhere. I mean, we can get the coffee at Walmart. I'm not a coffee drinker myself, but I know it's there because I've gotten it.
Then you gotta make it, and it never tastes right. You know why? Because you don't burn it 4 times at home. Ah, there you go.
The secret ingredient. All right, man, let's do this thing. One of the things I've noticed right off the bat, just getting to know you, is you're fun and you have a lot of energy. And it's, for me, sometimes some of those common sense things, we forget that people just want to be around people that make them happy, that make them laugh, that help them solve their problems. And I wonder, the secret to word of mouth marketing, does it have anything to do with why you are the way you are personality wise?
Yeah. I mean, look, at the end of the day, the secret is to care about other people, right? Now, I give them the answer now, but if they cut out of the podcast now, they're not going to really know how to implement it. So I'm going to tell you right now, it is caring, right? But it's all about authenticity. It's who you are as a person. People have always heard that people do business with who they know, like, and trust. And I believe that's not really the case. People do business with who they know, like, trust, and care about, right? And my first book, I wrote about referrals, and I gave 45 different ways to build relationships with other people. But what I found throughout the entire process is at the end of the day, don't we just want to hang out with awesome people?
Yes.
Right? And I call that the high five effect, the new book, which is that you can walk down any hallway in any building in this entire country and literally just high five people. That's how joyous it should be to be in business. But the problem is people left the corporate world because they wanted three things: more money, more time, and more freedom.
Yes, yes, and yes.
And when they build the business, they don't get any of those things in the first 5 years.
No.
They're stuck.
Today I lost more than you can know.
Yeah.
The business owns them. And so what I did was, I owned a digital marketing agency, a website company for 16 years. And I sold it to a guy I met in a networking group for over $1 million. Right? And I learned the tricks of building a successful service-based business was about relationships. And then I also learned all the other issues, the things that we don't listen to, like our gut, and taking on those red flag clients, the ones that don't want to pay you on time. They're difficult. They're ones that don't give you the testimonial. They're the ones that you guys don't even ask for the video testimonial, right?
You just want to get the transaction over with.
Yeah, done. I'm done and out. I worked with a client. I started with a client last year, coaching a client. And the first week she was a client, she was telling me about one of her clients. And I said, you need to fire that client. And she said, why? I need the revenue. That's the problem. This client is taking up too much time and space in your head, and you're not making money. She fired the client. Within 6 months, she doubled her revenue. Because you don't spend time dealing with the garbage.
And yet, but we do, right? I mean, you're not supposed to spend time dealing with the garbage, but we do. And you see this over and over in not just business, but just in life in general, right? I teach part-time at a high school, and I'll tell you real quick, there's things that I know I need to do that I put off because I don't want to do them, even though I know if I just got them done, I wouldn't have to stress on it anymore. I spend my time in the garbage. I'll do things in business, right, to avoid doing the things I know I have to do. I'll go, clean the toilets at my house or wash the dishes. Like, how exciting is that? To avoid those few little things that I know will make a big difference in my life. And they're usually the easiest things possible. There are things like pick up the phone and have a conversation with somebody. There are things like write a thank you note and send it out. They're the things that make me human, that make the relationship better, that I hesitate on. Now, you deal with a lot of people. Why the hesitation? What do you think is the thing that's holding us back from taking those simple actions? They're simple, they're not easy.
It's two things. First of all is the fear of rejection. If I sit down and mail out a card, is it going to be rejected? Are they going to like me? Are they going to like what I say? When I'm a big proponent of handwritten cards, and the number one question I get asked is, what do I put in the card? Like, we know what to put in the card, but the reason people ask that question is because they're afraid to put the wrong thing in the card because they don't want the rejection piece, right? So that's a big issue. The second thing is imposter syndrome.
That's huge.
We think we don't belong. And what I wrote in the new book, The High Five Effect, was that every problem you have, if you voice it, you will find out every other business owner has that same problem. They have that same concern, or they have dealt with that problem or concern. Mastermind groups are amazing for discovering. Peer advisory groups are amazing for discovering where your synergies lie with other business owners so that you can get help and assistance and move past those roadblocks. Imposter syndrome is such a challenge. Fear of rejection and need for approval, such a challenge. If we can shed those things and just be okay with who we are, our flaws, our weaknesses, our difficulties, then we can move forward and start to build a real business. And the thing you said that's so powerful is the things that people are avoiding are the contact with others, right? And what I talk about and what I've written in my books is easy. or it's simple. It's just not easy, right? It's simple to understand. It's just not easy to implement because how do I write a card every day, Matt? How do I write 20 cards a week, Matt? How do I write 100 cards a month, Matt? It's about a process, system and a process. And I never recommend you do those big numbers. I recommend you do one a week. That's not hard. It's very easy to implement one card a week.
Sounds like
I surrender to your will.
exactly. You got to surrender to this thing, right? Like, Will Smith had a great video clip where he's talking about how self-discipline is self-love. Like, you want to achieve that level of success in your business. There are those things that you have to do. Make it part of your routine. You want to lose weight. You want to get in better shape. You got to make it part of your routine because most of the times you're not going to want to do those things. You're not going to you have no motivation. The motivation is weird how it works. To me, it's like a tease. I am extremely motivated to work out 5 minutes before I'm ready to go to bed. Right? Like that's a perfect time for my mind to say, yep, now's the time to go work out. I have the urge to make phone calls at 6 o'clock right before dinner's about to be set on the table, right? Like all of a sudden your motivation shows up when you don't want it to. How do you get that motivation to move forward? And it comes down to that discipline and the routines. If you put those disciplines in place, if you make it part of this is what I have to do every single day, you'll inch your way to success, and you get into flow states, right? You get into these states of mind where now you're excited to do that next thing. Or when you write your book, when you talk to clients about developing these relationships, how much of it is develop those habits and routines?
Yeah, so it's all about what I call trigger points and touch points. Trigger points are the things that already happen in your business that trigger something else to happen. So for instance, a trigger point is somebody sending you a LinkedIn connection request. A touch point is your response back to them, right? You're touching the client in some form or fashion. A touch point is a text message, it's a Facebook message, it's a LinkedIn message, it's an email, it's a handwritten card. So if somebody buys a product or service from you, that's a trigger, then the touch point might be the handwritten thank you card, right? Or you got a referral from somebody, like a partner that's never done business with you. And so that's a trigger point that they referred you. The touch point is your response to them, the gift, the card, the communication, right? And so sometimes it's just about doing, if you do a one-to-one or a networking event, you meet somebody and they're nice and great. You got their contact information. Awesome. They gave you the business card. Hey, handwritten card. Boom. Thanks. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me at the networking event. Nobody ever sends that stuff.
No.
And here's at the end of the day, quick question for you. How do you outrun a bear?
I don't put one foot in front of the other.
You don't.
You die?
You don't. You outrun your business, bro.
That's right. You're on point, man. You're on point. Yeah, I don't gotta run faster than the bear. I just got to run faster than the other guy.
Than who you're with. And so business is exactly that. If you're selling real estate, all you need to do is stay in touch more than any other realtor. If you're a web designer, you got to stay in touch with your contacts more than other web designers. If you're a financial advisor, same concept. All you got to do is be one step ahead, one contact point ahead of your competition so that you can rise above the noise and cut through it. And that's what works so effectively. But if you do it to get referrals, they'll know and it won't work. Instead, if you do it because you care, because you truly love hanging around these people, because you love to give them high fives, then it works all the time, right? It's a challenge, and people just don't understand the reality that if you reach out to people, they'll reach out to you and give you referrals back. They'll buy more stuff. I have a group coaching program, and this month we're doing a little thing where I said, okay, on October 7th, Thursday, October 7th, we're actually saying, okay, on October 7th, everybody just take 1 hour block and reach out to people. I'm trying to motivate people to show them what the results will come from that. Are you going to get sales? I don't know. Maybe. It depends on the business you're in. But funny enough, hey, how are you? How is your business? That email alone has produced sales for people, even though that wasn't the intent.
Well, let's talk about this because there's some authenticity there, and then there's some just get out there and do it built in at the same time, right? Part of the authenticity that you're talking about there is once you have that other person on the call, it's being interested in their life and actually having a conversation about what's going on, using something like a CRM or some sort of file system to write down what was the last thing you talked about in that conversation, right? That's part of it. The other part of it is, is what you kind of laid out. Here's a block time, reach out to people, right? And here's the disciplined part is, where's that time in your day where you're going to do that? And then who is it that you're going to reach out to? And what you talked about earlier was when you got to drop a client, that is not the person you want to reach out to, right? You don't want to hang out with them. You barely wanted to do business with them. Why are you going to reach out to them? The people you reach out to are the ones who are already connected with you. If you have a podcast or you have your social media followings or whatever it is, it's the people that are interacting with you. It's the people who actually want to talk to you. Am I missing something?
No,
here?
that's it. And you mentioned the big key acronym here is CRM. Everybody's afraid of it. They don't know which one to pick or how to use it. Bottom line is you get whatever was the best CRM to use is the one you actually use, right? And so it's about, I recommend the free HubSpot version just because it will log your emails and show you the email history with your contact. And it allows you to set up tasks, which are follow-ups, and then reminders for those things to do. And so you have a good history there. You can go in and you can work the queue, right? And everybody falls off the wagon. Many times we get behind. If you go look at my HubSpot right now, I was just on vacation for 10 days, right? It's really jacked up. It's not good. I'm way behind on my follow-ups and touch points and all that stuff. But I'll catch up. It's all good. I'll catch up. I'll take a half hour here, a half hour there, an hour here, and I'll squeeze them back in. And I'll get back on track. And
because tomorrow the sun will rise.
Well,
yeah, because at the end of the day, if you keep working these contacts, tomorrow the sun will rise.
yes. But that's the thing is and you have a smile on your face when you're doing that. I'll get caught up. Again, it's because you actually want to talk to them.
Yeah.
Right. You want to find out what happened next. Did they have their baby? What did they name their kid? Right. Did some so-and-so get out of the hospital? Did they walk away? Did their business venture move on to the next spot? One of the greatest analogies that I heard was James actually brought it up. The other business bro, he goes, it's funny how these conversations, they're nothing more than continuous threads. You're just following up on that last little conversation on the thread. You look at it in a text message. A text message, you have a conversation with somebody, it ends. When you think of them again, you go back to that same thread.
How'd you make out with that thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, how was your softball tournament? Hey, how crappy did the Patriots do this past weekend? And but I did a training call this morning, and the organization, the people on the call were all in New England, and there's a guy who was a Dallas Cowboys fan on the call, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna make note cards. What do you think I should put on the? Should I put my company logo on the card?" And I said, "Absolutely not. You do custom note cards. Do not put that. Actually, you should put the logo of the Dallas Cowboys on there because that will make you stand out." He goes, "Oh, I'm totally doing that." Because it's different. It's unique, right? And that's his personality. It's like he leads everything with the freaking Cowboys. So, fine, go with that. That's authentic, right? Do that. I think that's awesome,
Well, it speaks to you. It speaks to who you are. Again, that was a hook point, hook, line, and sinker right there. That's exactly what you laid out. The fact that he's going to lean in with the Dallas Cowboys. First of all, who the hell leans in with the Dallas Cowboys? I'm just throwing that out there. But second is you're doing it with a bunch of Patriots fans, and we all know how loyal Patriots fans are, right? The fact that you're gonna stand out means that you've opened the door to multiple conversations, right? That's really what it's coming down to. If I'm hearing you tell the story and I'm trying to look at it from a marketing perspective, from a growth perspective, that's really what's going on here, right?
And absolutely. And think about it too. It isn't always about you, right? It's authentic, but it's not about you. I got a card in the mail today. No, this is no joke. This person, high five. And they know I'm the high five dude. I have pins in here. I have this pin that I give out to people that's a high five pin. My book, High Five Effect. And inside is just a handwritten note from Amy Flores Young, right? My travel agent for my recent trip. But I don't know. She might have made this or she found it somewhere. But when she found it, who do you think she thought of? Right?
The high five guy.
That's right. And so she held these so she could use them for me. I know that's what she did because I just know subconsciously that's how she thinks. And when you make it about other people, like, that's the game changer in all of this. And that when you start doing business with people who bring you joy, which is what the high five effect is about, you really raise your level of joy. And being in business is so much more fun. You become so much more profitable when you do that. It's just a powerful thing. There were times when I owned my web design agency where I was just not happy. I'd get up and go to work and I was sad. I was frustrated. I was annoyed with the lack of revenue I was making personally. And I had all these employees and I just wasn't as happy as I felt like business owners should be. And I started to soul search and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to sell. And I sold it. And now I literally wake up doing what I love to do every single day. Now, here's the thing, Hernan. I define my life by the definition of freedom, which is doing what I want, when I want, where I want, and how I want. And
That's
so
great.
I don't allow my clients to book calls in my calendar a long ways out. If you came to me and said, Matt, I'll pay you 10 to X what you charge, but I need a call every Tuesday at 10 a.m., I'd say, thanks, but no thanks. Because my calendar is more important to me and the freedom is more important to me than the money. Right? And so that's why I could take 10 days, 4 of which were completely off the grid in the Grand Canyon, no access to my phone. Right?
Because you don't have to worry about it.
I don't have to worry about it. And the clients who I have respect that. They know. And I just tell them in advance, I'm not going to be available. And they're totally cool with it. Because I'm teaching them how to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So they're like, wait, you can go do this? So when I landed in Vegas, before I went to the Grand Canyon, I did a Facebook Live and I said, okay, everybody, this is it. This is all you're going to hear from me. You're not going to hear from me for 7 days.
Well, it's certainly more enjoyable than my average day.
Yeah, and they were happy. And they were happy for you, right?
And I went to Las Vegas. I didn't go to Alcatraz, but I mean, I get
The Rock.
The Rock. He's such a great actor. So they're
I think he's wonderful.
Yeah, he is definitely wonderful. Jason's on fire today.
How does he pull up all these clips so quickly? That's amazing. I love it. So they're happy for me, and then they get to see that in action, and they're like, I want that. I want to keep working with him. I love that. Let me talk to him about how he did that. I had one friend who I invited on the trip who's a realtor down in Florida, and he said, Matt, I can't be off my phone for 4 days. And I'm like, Jake, dude, this is the epic trip of a lifetime. Side-by-side ATVs to the Grand Canyon. Let's go. I can't do it. I said, that's a symptom of a bigger problem. How do we run our businesses so that we can actually take time off? We got to get virtual assistants or full-time assistants and train them properly with enough lead time. He had 9 months to do that and he couldn't do it. I'm like,
But he's not the only one.
no, they're all like that.
I'm still to the point where I do the same thing because setting that stuff up takes work. It does take effort.
Oh, yeah.
But the reward at the end is so much better. Right? I mean,
Dude, there's nothing more satisfying than receiving an email and forwarding it to my assistant, Heather. That's so great. Because also, she's detail-oriented. I'm not.
Yes.
Right? So you have to hire for your weaknesses, right? And make sure that you're complimenting who you are and what you do. And that's part of, in the book, is like outsourcing your weaknesses, right? You got to make sure you're doing the things necessary to be successful to free up your time. I can't recall the guy that wrote the book. My friend Jason told me about it. It's a book called Who, Not How. And
no, I haven't read it yet.
It's about who you can get to do the work, not how you can get it done. Dan Kennedy, I think, is who wrote it. And he outsourced the book.
I love that concept. I mean, for us developing a brand and having the ability to say, when you send me something, I'm going to make sure it gets done. When I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. That's one of those things that we really pride ourselves in. That's building a brand. And the funny part about it is you're literally growing your brand one person at a time. You're doing it by establishing that relationship. Your brand is, dude, I don't want to work all the time. and look at the life that I'm living this way. Like you're literally showing people that this is how I've created myself. There's so many companies out there that try to develop a brand and it doesn't stick because it's not their authentic version of themselves.
Authentic. Absolutely.
It's something that's made up, right? Whereas yours sticks because you're literally doing it with them.
Oh yeah, and I schedule my days out. Like, so I have the Freedom Boat Club membership, which is like, I don't know if you know what that is, but it's like a golf club membership, but for boats. So you can use them in marinas all around the country. That's cool. So I spend a lot of time on the boat down in Florida, and I don't have to clean the boat. I don't have to maintain the boat. I just pay for the gas, and I pay a monthly fee for this thing. And so I schedule time on the boat. I schedule time in the woods on my ATV in the middle of the week or on weekends. Typically, I go boating during the week, and I go ATVing on the weekends. And I schedule time in my calendar to block it off so that people don't use my calendar link to book up those days. Because what happens when you do that is then it just becomes this long, you need to schedule your mental health days, whatever those are. For me, it's boating and ATVing. But for some people, it might be art. It might be travel. It might be hunting. Whatever your hobby is, you need to schedule the time off. When I was with the agency, the most effective thing I ever did was start scheduling Fridays off. Once I got Fridays consistently scheduled off, I scheduled Mondays off. And at the end, I was working 3 days a week. And just so you know, we made more money on those months when I was taking days off than we made than I was in the office, right? Most business owners are sabotaging the business by getting too involved. And the more time they take off, the more money they'll actually make.
Yes.
You know, I've been saying it, Miguel. Huh? I've been saying it.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming because he's been telling me that for a while now. James, you're on fire, dude. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's funny how that works out. We're in a position right now where our insurance agency runs a lot the same way. We have our VAs, we have staff that, and one of my favorite things to do, same thing. I get an email, I'm like, whoop, send it to the person that I know is going to take care of it, and it's a done deal. I do very little work when it comes to running.
Just smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
It right there, right? Smile and wave. But like, back to the case in point, it was 7 years in the making. Like, it took a long time to get to that point. And now, we're sitting back and enjoying the fruits of that labor. And we're looking at the business from a whole different standpoint. It's like, okay, now how do we add fuel to this fire that we got going now that we got the foundational things squared away? How do we grow this task to move to the next level? And it's going to come down to the same thing you talked about right now. Who do you want to work with?
That's right. That's right. That's right on, right on, right on.
Right on, right on, right on. All right, Matt. Hey, we're running close to the end on our time here.
Yep.
If people want to get a copy of your book, they want to work with you, what's the offer of the show?
All right, so a couple things. They can hit my website, mattwardspeaks.com. They can also go to High Five Effect, all spelled out, highfiveeffect.com. And that's the pre-order of the book. Comes out October 26th, hardcover only on my website. So that's an exclusive deal right there with all the bonuses. highfiveeffect.com. I love being on your show. I love it. It's so much. I love to tell people at the end of every YouTube video I do every week, every presentation I ever do, and every keynote I ever do all across this country, don't forget to live happy, smile a lot, and high five everyone around you. Yeah, buddy.
Yes, dude. I love that. I had this lady on the other day, and she had one of the craziest laughs. She's my worm lady. And I told her, I go, James and I, we anytime you're in a group, my dad, James, myself, when you hear us laughing, like that's the laugh over there in that corner, right? It's so infectious. People just laugh at us because we're laughing, and they have a good time. Same thing with my worm lady. She was on the show. Every time she laughed, I couldn't help it. I have this little image for those of you who can't, you're watching live, but at the very bottom of my screen, I have small little thumbnails, videos, and I can see James, my producer guy, in the back, at the bottom of the screen here. And every time she would laugh, I just see him start laughing, put a big smile on his face. I feel the same way about you, Matt. Like, that's the thing about word of mouth marketing. Again, I'm going to go back to it. It's don't be an asshole. Be somebody who's bringing value and wanting to truly be of service to other people, and then pick up the phone and have a conversation every single day. If you can do those things, it's going to change your life for the better. I think you'll naturally kind of jokerish grow a smile, and it's not malicious intent at all. It's just part of being human. When we have a conversation with people, you might agree with a lot of stuff, you might disagree with a lot of stuff, but at the end of the day, you're a better person, and I think your soul gets a little dopamine, I guess. I don't know if
you're definitely going to get the dopamine hit. All people need to do is think about one thing. Don't sell, build relationships.
Yeah.
Don't sell, build relationships, and this will come naturally over time.
That's it. Well, hey, Matt, thank you very much for coming on the show. I was going to ask if you can give me a testimonial, but you already did. So thank you very much for coming on the show, sharing everything that you're doing. I'm going to give you a virtual high five. You ever watch Demolition Man?
No.
You never watched Demolition Man? Oh, shit. James, you got to come on in. Give me a high five.
What is that? Oh.
That's it, man.
There we go.
Right, there you go, Matt. Now you got to watch it. It's Sylvester Stallone, man. It's Sylvester
And
Stallone,
Wesley
Sandra
Snipes.
Bullock, Wesley Snipes.
Oh.
They're in the future, right? So basically, what happens is Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone's character, they get cryogenically frozen for like 70 years or whatever. They show up in the future. In the future, you can't make contact. I don't know how right they were because we're living in that future right now.
Yeah.
But they give those high fives where they get.
This is a COVID high five.
It's a COVID high five, right? But yeah, man.
Give it a 10. A 10.
A 10.
Give it a 10.
Give it a 10. Matt, hey,
so
man, thank
awesome.
you very much for coming on the show, dude.
You guys
Had a
are the
lot of
best.
fun.
There's my testimonial. You're the best.
There it is. All right, ladies and gents, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace. And we're out.
Thank you for listening to the Business Bros Podcast. Are you looking to get more clients or to increase your income? Hernan, the business bro, can help you generate referrals through the power of podcasting. And James, the insurance bro with Pipeline Insurance, can help you effectively add insurance to your existing business. If you are ready to create wealth today and generational wealth for tomorrow, email businessbros@csfirst.com to schedule a free consultation or join the Business Bros Network, www.businessbros.biz.